That's actually a really good segue. Now that I think about it, I'm totally fascinated with science and space and future tech and what life is going to be like for humanity in the millennia ahead of us and the centuries ahead of us. Yeah, millennia. As a millennial, I'm thinking of that, but that type of stuff just really fascinates me. You know, I used to love the Jetsons. You had the Flintstones that was talking about the past. So archaeology and you know, that's cool. Yeah. I didn't really want to be in the desert digging up fossils in the heat. You know what I mean? Like that, I'm cool. But looking up at the stars and just thinking about the infinite possibilities of what is and how it's just so like we can't think about it. And it's even funny to me that people it's people that think it's a flat earth or like there's no so so we the only flat thing, the only disc. And then everything else when you look up though obviously has some sort of shape of sphere of some sort, right? I don't know. And they're not perfect. It's not like if you were to close up, you get a good clear shot of them. Like they're just perfectly gas planets. You know, obviously planets made of rock, made of. I can't. I'm sure there's water worlds somewhere. Think about the galaxy, the infinite number of galaxies, and uh, oh, that's how we even got here. Because we was talking about No Man's Sky, and that game is basically that. Like it almost helps. It almost feels like living in the future, if you will. And then you come back and it's normal life. You're like, oh shit, I gotta go to work. Anyway, No Man's Sky though, I love it. Sky, Elden Ring was my favorite game for a good little minute, but that saying all that to say, I be going off on tangents. Well, y'all love makers, y'all just gonna have to rock with me. You know how it go. We just be, yeah. And be sure to we just be yeah. Be sure to join the Discord that's finally up. The link is in the description. Also the Reddit for the Lovemaker Community that's up. So go on check it out. Actually, yeah. See, they're all new. All right. So jump in, be a part of the beginning. Don't be one of them folks that come in later down the road. Like you gonna do that. Most of y'all do that anyway. Like how hey man, I seen your video, buddy. That was funny. That was dope, man. Did you hit the like button? Did you hit the subscribe button? Did you leave a comment, bro? Because that's what count. So do that. If you haven't done that yet, go ahead and hit the like button. I appreciate it. And I never think I'd be the one to say that. And I keep telling y'all that, but I be looking at them numbers. That shit count. That's important. I need them likes. So hit that like button. And watch the video. I'll do better and make sure that they're entertaining for y'all. Anyway, so yeah, future tech and all that stuff is just really important. And what's interesting, what brought me to this whole thing, and what I meant by a segue. If you've been rocking around my little hole, you would have been like, "Dang, Chuck, you brought it back." I know. Wait till you see the live show. Um, so it's been a discussion with Timbaland, and to me as a musician and a producer, I make beats. I have Timbaland. I would give him probably, if I think about it, he might be my favorite hip hop producer of all time. When I think about the impact and when he came in and how his sound is just the type of stuff that I'm on, like just very on its own. Literally its own drummer. When I was just much younger, I was a little whipper. When you first heard Missy, I think Missy's song was the first one. I can't stand the rain, but you didn't really know that's who. You just knew the beat was. You was like, what the hell is that? And I think and then it was Up Jumps the Boogie. Oof, man, look when that Up Jumps the Boogie first came out. I mean, to this day, as soon as you hear that, we gon' show. I, And Mag can't, God rest his soul, man, because I love Mag. He could not rap worth a damn. If you ever listen to what he was saying, he wasn't saying a damn thing, but he rode the beat so well. Like he was just such a great, he just understood the music and he understood his lane. And he didn't take himself too seriously. And I think, I heard a few verses when he legit went off. He might have said a weird line or two in there, but he would always go off, man. So yeah, rest in peace to Mag. But they whole little wave when they first dropped with Genuine and Aaliyah, of course, Total, like it was just crazy. I bought that album. I remember buying Welcome to Our World, and shit on everything I love. I say listen 2 months ago. I was at work and I listened to the whole album from the beginning to the end. And I love all his albums, but his beats were always so different and so crazy. And I think a big part of what people are disappointed in when it comes to this and what he's doing. So I'll say, if I haven't yet, obviously he's introducing a new AI artist. Not a new one, I guess the first one. The first, I don't know how you can sign an AI artist, but they are saying it. So maybe if they're just doing a real collection of, her, um, I don't know, previous performances or, so therein lies the issue, right? How are you building this character? Where did you get it? So if you know, and if you not, if you haven't been on Twitch, and a lot of you older niggas ain't been on Twitch because y'all don't know nothing about it, you got to get with it. I'm on Twitch right now. Some of y'all are watching me on Twitch right now. What's up? Appreciate it. What up, little makers? It's he for like I think really Fridays, or I think even for a minute, like every day, he was he'd come on live and he'd have people submit their beats, or they would have already submitted their beats online or through some sort of portal he has. And I don't remember the names of it. We're gonna go through all that now, but they would submit their beats or their song, and then he'll call them up or pull them up on live, and he'll have them perform and let everybody hear and say what they think about it. And it was crazy because he's been doing that for a minute, and now it just so happens that he's talking about this AI artist, and people are concerned. Like shit. So where you been getting that from? Like how you build that? Have you been using the artist that you know? And I guess that's a very logical thing to think, and it's unfortunate because like I said, I love Timbo, but if he doing, and so I'll go ahead and say my piece, and then we'll get into the video, or at least my point of view about it, so you just know, right? I'm a purist as far as an artist, right? I'm a purist as far as humanity, right? If it was us, between us and AI, or us the cyborgs, I'm team human, all right? I don't give a damn. And when it comes to art, I take that extremely seriously, and very personally, because it's a lot. It's a lot to be a creator. I've been a creator and an artist my whole life. I mean, I know y'all like, nigga, I ain't never seen you on nothing. Well, I'm on stuff. It was probably whack, or just never released if it was dope. And I got stuff coming out this year, so just hold tight. Y'all gonna be shocked. Y'all gonna be shocked. Shout out to to them boys out there in LA. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I'll shout them out when I can. But yeah, this is it's a very serious thing for me, to take the time and the energy and the effort and the courage to, and the determination, and where you go through so much as an artist. Like, you lose out on relationships, you lose out on time and friends, or you might lose your sanity, your health, all kinds of stuff. You might lose your house or be homeless, and I've been there. I've been homeless in LA on TV. You know what I'm saying? Same day, go to my partner house and we see the episode that's airing on TV, but I was sleeping in my Prius. So it's and trust me, a lot of people's out there like that. A lot of y'all be thinking just here you in Hollywood and you on TV, you straight. Nah, dog. Take it from me. I lived 5 years in Hollywood. I've done stuff. Hold on. I mean, I've seen some stuff. Hold on, let me see. I understand the game. How about that? Damn. See, you got to be careful with what you say because Hollyweird is Hollyweird. You know what I mean? Like it ain't no joke. But I digress. That's another episode, another topic. We'll talk about my life in LA, right? I guess so. Anyway, so yeah. So this is troubling to be the spearhead, to be the almost the pinnacle of the when you think of creative hip hop, you almost think immediately of Timbo. So for him to be spearheading this or be the one that's kind of trying to indoctrinate all of us into thinking that it's viable, like I just it's very saddening to me. It's disappointing, and I'm trying to see it from I'm looking at it from another point of view, and I've tried, but I just so anyway. But that's my piece. So what we're gonna do is go through this. So there's some couple of clips. I'll start off with saying, so because of that, like my point of view off of what I just said, he ended up dropping this little commercial. I seen it on his Instagram, but he ended up dropping this, which was basically roasting all the artists who have issues with him doing this. And I'll just let you judge it for yourself.
AI is ruining music. Whatever. Go ahead and cry me a river, since Timbo stamp is on that too.
Hey, that's funny though.
Y'all crying about AI taking your spot, but your songs barely mix. Why would we train it on that?
Man, y'all scared of AI, but record every hook in Melodyne.
Auto-tune is AI, baby. Y'all just didn't complain till it started writing better hooks than you. Timbo ain't the villain, he just not babysitting y'all no more. You want opportunity, but ain't got output.
You worried about AI stealing your sound? Bro, you ain't got one.
Damn, like
who am I kidding? I ain't had no bars to begin with.
AI is ruining music.
You see what I'm saying? So, like I said, Timbo been getting a lot of backlash for that. And to be honest, hey, first and foremost, I'm a comedian. That's funny as hell, And if he gonna shoot back, that's how you shoot back, buddy. Right here, though.
I ain't had no bars to begin with.
AI is ruining.
Why he had a little dude in the corner like that though? Anyway, so after that, of course, a lot of people have been going off on it. If you look at any of his most recent posts on Instagram, you'll see, they've been flaming him, with the idea of that, artists, artistry comes from the soul, man. Like you can't duplicate the human experience. Well, hold on, I take that back. You can duplicate the human experience, but you can't experience the human experience without being a human. So there's no way that you can truly produce or create anything as AI that would that could really have the ability to create something so unique and so new, right? I mean, to be honest, you almost take out the space for God and for what the ethereal can bring. There's a point when you're like freestyling or where you're like in the zone or something like that, or when you singing your heart out, or you really playing and you ain't even got your eyes open, you just at it, and you go into this zone, and they got a name for it. I don't know. I'm drawing a blank for it, which is goofy, but you know what I'm talking about. I know a lot of you know what I'm talking about. You get to a point where you blank out and you tap into something else, and that's where the real magic comes. That's when it really happens. You get in your damn, I was almost finna say using your zen, but that ain't it. using your Venn diagram. I'm just kidding. It's wordplay. Okay, I understand what I'm saying. But yeah. So anyway, so the other day, Guru, who's also another legend producer, they were having a conversation about all of that, just about it. So that's Guru, obviously. This is Timbo's, I guess, creator guy. That's his partner. So he a yes man for him. And I don't know who he is, but he got a goofy smirk, and I don't know why he got that chain on like that. But hey, what can I say? It's actually pretty dope. I ain't even gonna trip. I ain't even gonna hold you. All right. So let's see what they talking about.
On radio.
And mind you, Guru's in defense of art, the pure. I say the pure idea, the purest idea. Okay.
Remember that point where everybody was copying you?
They still do.
Everybody, right? We got tired of it and then moved on. So after we get out of that phase, we get to a Justin Timberlake phase. Okay, now y'all copying the Justin Timberlake phase. And then we can go on and on. But what we're trying to do is make sure that the human emotion is still in it. To make sure that we still get to represent who we are from learning and being older. Like a Jay-Z at whatever, 28 years old or 27 on a Reasonable Doubt is different than a Jay-Z on a 444. But if I would have left it up to AI, y'all only have Reasonable Doubt, you would have never got to 444. That's the point.
And it's like
we're leaving out the taste factor.
Exactly. And also, I mean, to be honest with you, man, it's like I think regardless of what I was trying to make, it was my taste of what I was hearing in my head.
Did you see that in my post? I said, yo, bro, you leaving out your impactful taste.
You gotta say I did that shit with spoons. Because my mom couldn't afford a keyboard. I couldn't afford stuff, but it was my taste. So no matter what I'd use, I was gonna get the best because it was in me. That's what God gave me. No matter what the tool is, I know how to play.
Hold on. So if you still gotta know how to use the tool, the training of using the tool is still part of what makes you make what you make. Even the restriction of the tool.
Message.
So if I could take all of jazz and I could program this thing to say, yo, here's the history of jazz music. Someone who's never touched an instrument ever in their life could go, you know what? Give me a song that's 25% Coltrane, 10% Monk, 10% this person, and put. It's like you never had the training to understand. And I'm saying jazz because that's like one of the hardest things to play. Jazz players don't play for the audience. They play for themselves. They play to show off to other jazz players.
Right.
To show that you can play on that level. That's a real deep thing. So to even stand on the stage at Minton's, right? And be like, yo, we taking this away from what regular jazz is and we're going to create this new thing. You had to already have the old thing to say that we moving away from that to get to this new thing. That's what make Coltrane. So if anybody can do Coltrane, it's like when kids come up to me and be like, yo, I could play Coltrane's song better than Coltrane. I'm like, wow.
Hey, look at Buddy in the top right corner. I ain't gonna front. It just kind of went over my head a little bit, but I think he's saying the right thing. And Buddy right there, and just with the chain, that's big goofy chain activity.
What I want to do, I already heard Coltrane. That's his expression.
My bad, dog. He probably, if he see this, I'm just talking. I don't know. It's funny.
Just because you can fire a pistol don't make you a sniper, though. You know what I'm saying? Because you know how to access a tool don't make you a sniper. And I think
but what I'm trying to tell you is that
Timbo.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that we now have drones that can fire as good as the best snipers in the world. So you're taking away the thing of studying to be a sniper.
Right, no doubt.
You're missing the point.
But at the end of the day,
okay. But like, does it take away? You said take it away to be a sniper, but guess what? A real sniper gonna know how to work that drone sniper because he is a sniper.
Yeah, and Tim, this is where I go back to saying that you already have. Yes, of course. If I have my choice of people who gonna work the drone, I want a sniper. But
Well, they modeled the sniper, the drone after the best sniper.
Yeah.
The best sniper gave him that information to be.
No, they didn't.
Drone
No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
You think it's just a computer? You think they just typed that in?
No. What I'm telling you is that the best drone was made off of a program, whereas the best sniper know how to duck. He know what the weather look like. The drone don't know that. He know how to breathe. He know what the situation is. He know how to move. All of that. And you giving that information to somebody who ain't a sniper, who don't know how to work. All you doing is you saying, yo, it's people literally right now in war. It's kids playing video games. They doing like this, killing people.
They got more. They got more knowledge of being a sniper than a sniper now.
I hear.
So, I get it, and that wasn't the best metaphor. Like I get what he's saying though, and the point I feel like he's trying to make, people, there's when you're using AI, it's like any other tool that you have. So the tool is only going to be as good as the user. But there's something to be said that what it took for that user to be the user that they are, even if the model is modeled after the user, it's the point is though, it's still not the user. The user potentially has experience and other information or knowledge that, this AI only knows what it knows, but I do know that AI can learn, but I think that learning, unless, they can self-learn and pick up their own information that they want, which if they do, boy, we in trouble. But for the most part, that it's just AI, it's a gang of prompts. It can only, like any other computer, at least up to this point, it can only do what it's told, right? So, we'll see how that plays out. Anyway, but I think this part was, okay, this might be it. That might be it.
Right. That's the biggest question that I've seen. Where what the perception was like, oh, Tim is giving opportunity to young boys. Even my young boys from Delaware. Some of them that I mentor, they came on the show. And that was the number one question that I seen. They was like, yo, are you training AI off of our music? Okay. So can you address that one first?
Okay. First of all, I can't train. I don't own the company to do the training data. Now, what I do, I am a partner of Suno. Some people don't like Suno, and some people do. I use Suno for a tool. So as I was with them building on this tool, there are a lot of, as you build, I uploaded all my beats. How I use it as a producer tool, like a sampler, right? Mm-hmm. So it gives you personas. And what I did, I started learning more and more how to become a prompt operator. Mm-hmm. So I never trained off of, you can't train it. You have to learn you know, so you got to learn how to prompt to get the best product out of this tool. So it's not about training it. It's about you learning how to work with it. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Learning code, learning like, okay, if I say, yo, I call it Baby Timbo. So if I say Baby Timbo, I need my 808 to hit a little harder. I ain't make it hit harder. The one that, right now, remind you, I'm giving it original Timbo beats. So it's not like I'm using it to generate how, I call that the karaoke side, right? I call that like, and whatever. But I give it all my, cause dude, I got drives and drives of music. That's number one. Mm-hmm. So I give it my beats that's like, I can reimagine my beats. But in order to reimagine, you have to learn how to prompt. And I'm like, yo, this type of music is going to be a new wave. But it was aggravating to me because I said, yo, this ain't music. This ain't blah, 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 blah. But I'm like, yo, this is a way to get inspired and never be blocked.
And let's pause there, Tim. Like, so one of the things that I wanted to explain.
Well, before he get into it, to be honest, I actually agree with that. When I use ChatGPT, it's as I'm learning to use it more and more, I'm improving the prompts that I'm creating to get it to do what I want it to do, to maximize what it, and it teaches you, like as you're using it, you know, you'll see the mistakes it might make or the little, so you kind of get better at being specific at what you're asking for. You know, so it is like a code on, and I do feel like that. I do feel like it's like an excellent personal assistant or personal an executive assistant. Um, yeah, it's been helping me put a lot of these projects together. So I get what he means as far as chat GPT. I mean, like I said, I wish Guru probably did a better argument, but
people, right? Like we wanted to make sure. This is me as a professor, as a teacher. You know, I'm over there. Jay gave me the green light, and we over there with LIU with the university, right? So it's us teaching musicians not only just regular music or how to play, but the business and all of it. So one of the things that I'm big on is not giving a fourth grader a calculator. Right? I want you to learn how to add first. So I think one of the things that people are skipping over is that you put in your hours of learning your craft. Yes. Right? And I also it's big for me where I'm like, certain people will have opinions that maybe have one song, never have done anything, where it's just like, no, Tim has put in his hours. So I wanted to make sure that was clear, because that was one of the things that was bugging me out, because I'm like, Tim, and I think I put that, one of the things I said was I let off with love, right? But I also was like, I have kids that worship you. When I say worship, it's like a worship. They like, Tim was who raised me. And I want to make sure that the kids don't have a calculator before they learn how to add. That's my biggest thing. So I want to make sure that they know 1 + 1 = 2, 2 × 2 = 4, before they get to the So of course, and the people that was coming at me was like, "Goo, if you work at a Fortune 500 company and you the accountant, you're not going to do this by hand. You're going to use a calculator and a computer. That's why we have these tools." And I'm like, I get it, but I learned how to add first. So I think that's necessary for us to see. Like, you learned how to add before you went to
exactly
the calculator.
There you go. I had 30 years of experience. 30 years of experience. So now there's a tool to take my 30 years and multiply that. Because you know how many beats I have on a drive, just sitting there, I don't touch. This tool has allowed me to be even more creative than I ever been, because it's like,
put up a good argument, or
I can reimagine and tell and prompt and tell a snare to go over here, versus me going on my Ableton and doing it. Maybe take me a little longer, but then
shout out to Ableton. My Ableton Push 3 is right here. I record out of Ableton. Y'all already know. Where's that? See that? I got that thing queued up on deck. You know what I mean? Oh, I ain't gonna do it.
What I do is get the stems and put it back, and it's like one hand wash it. It's going back and forth. You know, it's like back in the day when I had a 4-track. I just overdub. It's just me.
Yeah, man, Ableton, man. If y'all see this, man, send me something. But I do product review. I need to do some product reviews. Which one was the one? So I gotta admit, every time I heard Guru just now, maybe I'm not picking the best clips, but I'll do better next time. But he definitely I think Timbo made some really good points. Guru kind of I got what he was saying. That's not the real issue. That's not the real feeling though. AI is already deboing artists or, you know, people in other workforces. And I think, you know, we don't want to see that happen to artistry. It'd be a crazy day when you can't tell the difference between, you know, a real artist and another one. But also that begs the question, you know, does it even matter? You know, as long as it's dope, as long as it sounds good, and the person who created it or who prompted the AI, so to speak, of whatever that came out, whatever was produced out of that, if that was dope, I mean, you know, you know, is it more important to prioritize human emotion, or like, or does it not matter? Does it just have to be dope? You know, what do you think? I'm curious. Leave your comments down below. You can even, like I said, join the Discord. The link's at the bottom. The Reddit's at the bottom. So the way we want to play this out for the future, just so y'all know, Reddit, feel free to drop whatever you want to see me talk about. If you got some of interest, put it in the Reddit. And then that way, not only can y'all go ahead and start talking about it, but that'll give me a fresh feed. So instead of me running around trying to find stuff for me to talk about, y'all send me things y'all want me to talk about. You know, we'll make that much easier. Feed me some stuff to talk about, and I'll give y'all the heat on that. And we'll learn about it together. We'll discuss it together. This is a safe space where, you know, no matter what you think or however you feel, you're definitely welcome. Just don't be disrespectful. Because, you know, you'll always get banned. You'll always see about you, you know, and sometimes people might know you, so you might shut up. You might not want to say nothing. They'll come to you where you stay. But the Reddit is for leaving stuff. The Discord is for live chatting. So when I'm playing the game, or if, you know, if you're having a hard time being able to reach out to me right now on Twitch or Facebook or YouTube right now, that would be the place to go. I think I'm gonna want to try to consolidate everybody into the Lovemaker Discord. So but yeah, as far as this video, let me know what you think. I think that's crazy. Is it more important for is it more important to ensure? Is it important to? Is it important? Is it mandatory that the only way it can really be considered true art is if it's made by a human, or do it not matter at all and it just has to sound dope? Like, you don't give a damn. Like, as long as it sound dope, it's fine, or it look dope, or it's, you know, cool to see, whatever the case may be. I don't care. You know what I mean? Get it how you live. What do you think? As for me, I'm out this thing. I'm gonna work on this beat. And then I'm gonna play No Man's Sky in a little bit. And I think I'm gonna cut this video and post it up.